island away from the mainland. It's by Minas del Sur, and you're gonna want to land on this cliffside that I have marked on my map. I'm literally just gonna fly there right now to show you exactly where it is, because it is a little tough to find. It's on the very top of this mountain, and if you get around the sides, you're gonna have a hard time finding this thing. But I'm gonna show you exactly where it is, and it's pretty funny because essentially in this Easter egg, it's the devs taking shots at the older map. You know what I mean? Like, they're taking shots at Erangel, it kind of seems like. So if you land on this mountainside right here at the very top, you'll look down and you should see this small little ritual circle with rocks that's going on at the bottom. Looks a little conspicuous, so we're going to go and explore this a little bit more. And what you'll find is that in the middle of these rocks, there is a traffic cone with a very, very clear message on it. You walk up to it and look exactly what it says. It says, "I hate school." And it has the underline under the word school, so you know he means business. But I just thought this one was really funny because you can only assume that they're talking about school from Erangel. A lot of people hate dropping school just because of how hectic it is, and you always end up dying there if you're not the first one to land on the M4. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought that was kind of amusing. And what's really weird is that it's kind of highlighted in this circle of like ritual rocks. You know what I mean? It's almost like a campfire, but instead of these rocks surrounding wood to have a fire, we have a traffic cone in the middle that's just roasting the school. So I thought that was a really good one. But I encourage you guys to go jump in a game and check this one out. Like I said, I just land exactly where I did. You should be able to spot it by these rocks that are surrounding it, and the traffic cone is just going to sit there the whole time. You can't really move it or anything, and it's just going to have its message loud and clear for everybody to see. But that's a pretty good Easter egg, and these are going to get more and more interesting as we go along. This is sort of just scratching the surface of Easter eggs that the devs have put into this map. But there you go, that is our first one. Now, the second Easter egg that we're about to look at is something that I found intriguing, because do you guys remember before we had the desert map even out and there were developer talks about what it's going to look like, what it's going to be, the names of the places, and they're just essentially breaking down what we can expect in the few months to come in regards to the desert map. There was a sort of like concept image art design of what the overlay of the map would look like, and it had like all these labels on it for each like location that you could drop, and they were kind of placeholder names. They didn't actually end up being what we have in the game today. Well, you can actually find that very map in game. Now, I found the easiest building to get this is at the furthest right island, like away from the mainland on Miramar. And if you walk into this radio tower building, I'll mark the map so you guys can see it, but you walk into this radio tower building that I'm in right here, and take a look at this desk, you can see a map of Miramar as is. However, the names are different than they appear in the game that we have. You know what I mean? Like, everything is labeled with some kind of placeholder name, and these were the original ones that we were seeing. So, like, for example, there's Hard Luck, that is like Los Leones now, and literally all of these names are completely different than the one that we got, like what we have now. Dirtbag is for like San Martin. There's a place called Zombie. There's a military base. All these are kind of goofy, or just, not really thought up too well for these. I'm glad they changed it because some of these sound a little lame, but it's just kind of cool to see how they left this in. You know what I mean? Like, usually this concept kind of art design or the work in progress is always get thrown out, but they kind of put this in as a sort of nod to the people that remembered this before the map actually came out, which I think is really, really cool. Now, these maps appear in multiple buildings whenever you see this radio tower, so you can find it elsewhere, but I think this island is the most one that, you're not going to have people trying to mess with you while you're looking at this map. So I encourage you guys to go in game and give this one a look as well. It's a nice little 3D map of the work in progress of Miramar, which is a nice shout. So that is our second Easter egg for this one. Alright, so for our third Easter egg, I need to go ahead and explain this one really quick about the background of it before I actually show you guys what it is. Now, a lot of people discovered this small little bunker that was on the very most northern side of Miramar, kind of by the mountains, where you're never going to end up being because the circle literally doesn't ever go there. I haven't had it once, and you know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to play there really at all. However, this bunker, the point of interest is that it's very, very out of place. When you think of Miramar, you think of a desert, you think of, you know what I mean, like completely barren wasteland, a little shrubbery here and there, but nothing too crazy. It's essentially all rocks and sand, and then there's a beach, but there's not a whole lot of vegetation or growth, right? Especially right in the middle of the desert, but this bunker kind of defies all odds of that, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to find this bunker at the very northern part of Miramar, like I said, right here in between this crevice of two mountains. So when you drive up here, you're going to notice something a little bit strange as soon as you pull up. You're surrounded by nothing but rocks and sand, but when you get closer and you approach this, you can see that there's this very lush green forest, almost like a kind of like a greenhouse, it seems like, you know what I mean? Like a bunker that somebody has planted a lot of shrubbery and just vegetation around, and it looks so out of place and odd in this desert map. Now, this is where some of the fun theories come in. A lot of people have been talking about that maybe this bunker is kind of like the observation of all the game makers and then the previous winners of PUBG. They get to hang out in there and watch this go on, you know what I mean? So if you've ever seen the Hunger Games, when they have the game makers and pretty much the entire audience watching everything go down in this little arena, imagine that, but this is where they stay, and this is kind of where they hide out. Now, we don't really know if that was the developer's intentions or not to, you know, kind of spark that theory or throw us off, but when you just look at this thing, I'm going to go up on this mountain and show you what it looks like from a distance as compared to the rest of the environment, and it's just so weird. It just sticks out so oddly, and we don't see structures like this throughout the rest of Myanmar, essentially, and I don't know, I just thought it was very, very unique. Now, this may not necessarily be considered a quote-unquote Easter egg, but I think it's something that is noteworthy, especially that you're never going to be looting up here. You're never ever gonna see this spot unless you go out of your way to do it, because there's just certain areas in the map, it's a shame in Myanmar, that you're just never gonna get to see or explore because the circle always ends up like going middle or, you know, the southern region of this map. You never get to go up north or on the far west or east side. There's just so many places that I've not even seen with my own eyes in this map, and it's kind of a shame. So I'm sure there's plenty of Easter eggs like this sitting around the rest of the desert map, so I encourage you guys to look in places that are previously unexplored or that you don't visit often, and maybe kind of find some interesting things just like this. But I thought it was worthy to mention, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on this particular one in the comment section down below. Alright, so for the last Easter egg of today, I need to give you guys a little background on this one as well so it makes sense. Essentially, what we're looking at is the devs put in a cipher code for us to solve and get a message out of. Now, if you guys watch my zombies videos, and you'll know that I'm very familiar with cipher codes, essentially what that means is that there is going to be a message that's a jumble of random numbers and letters that makes no sense looking at face value, but when you find the key for it, you're gonna be able to solve it, and it will read out a very coherent message. And the devs put a very, very simple version of a cipher in this map. I'm talking like the simplest you can get for us to solve, and it was picked up and solved pretty quickly. Now, the first person that I saw pick this one up is a Reddit user named Pubg Battlegrounds, and he was the first to figure this out and basically put it on the internet, so credit to him. But I'll show you guys exactly what this is. Now, there's a small cabin that has these numbers on it, 11953185520. So basically how he solved this is you take what number and you correspond that to that number of the alphabet. So for example, 1 would be A, so on and so forth. And when you actually solve this, it spells out a secret. Now, I'm not really sure if that's the devs trolling on us, that we're, you know, looking too hard into something and there's nothing to find. I don't really know, but I thought that was interesting as well. And there's so many of these little number codes around Myanmar that I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed as well. And I don't know if anybody's tried to solve these or if they're basic ciphers the way this one works or what have you. I'm sure there's a couple more Easter eggs that are related to this that we still haven't found, and I encourage you guys to jump in game and maybe see what you can find. If you do find anything, or if you have any other Easter eggs that I did not include in this video that you think were noteworthy, please do let me know about them in the comment section down below, guys. I would love to hear anything else, and maybe I'll use that for a part 2 video, and we can maybe keep a series of videos like this going, because I love Easter eggs. That's kind of where my roots are, you know, in Call of Duty Zombies, and this is super interesting stuff to me. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video regardless, and as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, or if you have any other Easter eggs that you guys want me to know, please let me know in the comments. And if you guys end up enjoying this one, or if you found anything interesting, any of this stuff useful, be sure you do leave a thumbs up. That will be awesome. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. I'll have more Battlegrounds videos coming out very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Peace out.